Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new, I'm Annie from Hooks and Healers. I share all sorts of content around crochet here, crochet vlogs, tips, tutorials, you name it. But today we are going to be talking about 5 of my personal unpopular crochet opinions. So these are some of my opinions that I have that seem to not be the norm. Most people I see online might kind of disagree with these, and that's totally okay. Whether you agree or disagree with some of these opinions, that is totally okay. Your thoughts and opinions are welcomed and encouraged in the comments below. So you're gonna have to let me know what you think of these. But I'm really excited to share some of these opinions with you guys because I think that there can be some helpful insight here, and that's my goal at least. I'm gonna be working on the sleeve of my cardigan during this video just for fun. So feel free to crochet or knit along with me. Grab yourself a warm drink, a snack, whatever you need. This is just gonna be a fun little chatty video. And I think that's everything. So let's go ahead and get started with my 5 unpopular crochet opinions. So my first unpopular opinion that I have to share with you today is that acrylic yarn has its place. And I know a lot of people might not agree with this, and I understand why they would disagree. Acrylic yarn tends to get a bad rap because it's not a natural fiber like wool or cotton, and although I personally tend to gravitate towards natural fibers, I still think that acrylic yarn has its place. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely a lot of cons to working with acrylic yarn, but I think it's ultimately up for you to decide if the pros outweigh the cons. The biggest con of working with acrylic yarn, in my opinion, is that it's just not sustainable. Acrylic yarn isn't biodegradable, meaning it can't be broken down naturally. It ends up in our oceans as microplastics, and all around it's not great for the environment. And now that I've said this, you might be wondering, Annie, why would you recommend acrylic yarn? And that's a very good question. And the truth is, there's a lot of benefits to working with acrylic yarn. And in my mind, the biggest of those is that acrylic yarn is affordable. And that affordability makes fiber arts as a hobby a lot more accessible to a lot more people. And if I'm being honest, I probably would have never started crocheting if there weren't affordable yarns like acrylic yarns on the market. Because at the time I was a college student, I didn't have any money, and I would have never picked up the hobby if it weren't for those yarns. On top of that, acrylic yarn is really easy to take care of. It's really durable. It's so easy to wash. You can just throw it in the washer and dryer with everything else. So for those reasons, I think it does have its place. Sustainability in the environment is something I really do care about, which is why I do try to opt for natural fibers when at all possible. This is merino wool, which is one of my favorite natural fibers, but cotton is also amazing. You can make so many amazing things for your kitchen with cotton. It's so durable. But I'm really curious to know what you guys are going to think about this unpopular opinion, because I know a lot of people have a lot of really valid concerns about the sustainability of acrylic yarn, as do I. It is something that concerns me, and I do hope that we can find a more sustainable fiber like cotton, like wool, that has that affordability factor going for it. So number 2, crochet patterns are meant to be broken. I think it can be really easy to fall into the pattern, no pun intended, of following crochet patterns to a T. And before I continue, I just want to make sure I make it very clear that it is totally fine to follow crochet patterns. That's what they're meant for. But at the same time, I really do think that crochet patterns work best when you apply your own personal creativity and knowledge to them. For example, my pattern testers for the wisteria cardigan, I love how creative they were because some of them chose to not do any color changes in the pattern. Some of them chose to do a different colored sleeve and different colored body, which I think is so cool. So I just think it's really awesome to not be afraid to play around with existing patterns and make them your own and be creative with it, because that's what it's all about in my mind. So number 3 is that the best crochet hook is completely subjective. I recently filmed a video where I tier ranked my own crochet hooks, and the comments section on that video really taught me a lesson. And that lesson is that there's really no such thing as the best crochet hook, the perfect crochet hook, because everybody crochets differently. We all have different ways of holding crochet hooks. We all prefer to work on different types of projects. Some of us specialize in garments, while others really enjoy amigurumi or blanket making. And all of those factors can really contribute to which crochet hooks we like to use. And so I always think it's important to take crochet hook recommendations with a large grain of salt, because everybody is different. And really, at the end of the day, what matters is that you are using a crochet hook that you enjoy and suits your own crochet style. And it might take a little bit of trial and error to find that crochet hook, but I know one that everybody loves is the Clover or More. I've never heard a bad thing about it, really. It's just like an all-around great hook. But don't be afraid to try crochet hooks that you are interested in or you think would suit you and your craft best. So I know that number 4 is going to upset some of you, and I just want to say that I'm really sorry in advance. So number 4 is that blocking isn't always necessary. And I know there's a lot of people who swear by blocking. They block every project, and this might hurt your ears, but I've never actually blocked a crochet project. And you might be like, what? And honestly, I don't know how I've never actually fully blocked a crochet project either. I think it's because I've just recently started working with nicer fibers like merino wool and things like that, which really should be blocked. But I've really gotten away with not blocking any of my acrylic cardigans or acrylic blend cardigans because, again, acrylic yarn is so durable, and I've just personally found that it doesn't really need it. It stands up against the test of time. I've had them for years and they're perfect. And blocking is great if you want to refine the shape of your project and make things look a little bit more neat, but in my experience, my projects just haven't really needed it. I do believe that most crochet projects would benefit from blocking, but honestly, I'm just lazy. So this is about as far as I've gotten with blocking, and I just use this for granny squares. It comes with some pegs, and you can just use it to straighten out your granny squares by kind of sliding them over top of it. And I have found that it helps. It is really useful, but at the same time, I don't see a huge difference, definitely a little difference. But I know there's also a lot of different methods like wet blocking or steaming your crochet projects, which are all things I plan to try very soon. So if you have any recommendations for that, definitely leave them in the comments for me and all of our other crochet friends, because I know that with this cardigan, I definitely am going to have to give it a good blocking, because this is 100% merino wool, and from everything that I've heard, it definitely is kind of a requirement. So number 5 is another one of my really big unpopular opinions, because this is something I see a lot on social media. There's a lot of pressure to crochet faster. And my unpopular opinion is that crocheting faster isn't better. It's just not, and it's not what it's about. Again, crochet is an art form and it's not meant to be rushed. And honestly, when I rush my crochet projects, I tend to be left feeling pretty burnt out. And I often have to remind myself that that's not the point of crochet. The point of crochet for me is to improve my mental health, practice being mindful, and express my creativity. And focusing on crocheting faster is not how I'm going to accomplish any of that. Because in all honesty, that pressure that we put on ourselves to crochet faster and finish that project and just get through it makes crocheting a task rather than a hobby. And that's not what I want. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of us crochet because it's fun, it's artistic, it's grounding, it's beneficial to our mental health. And when we remove that pressure to finish crochet projects in a time frame, we have the ability to experience that more fully, and in turn we create higher quality work, we feel better, we enjoy our craft more, and the list goes on and on. So if you find yourself getting stuck in the rut of always trying to crochet faster and finish more projects, I just want to remind you to question, why do you crochet? What is the goal of trying to finish more projects? And does that align with your reasons for crocheting? And that concludes my 5 unpopular opinions about crocheting. So I'm definitely curious to know if you guys enjoyed this video, because I have lots more to share in a part 2 if you're up for it. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video, if you agreed with me, if you disagree with me. I'm always open to insightful feedback in the comments below. I love reading your comments. If you made it this far into the video, comment the fall leaf emoji so I can personally thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. It really means a whole lot to me. And if you enjoy this video and other content that I share on this channel, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out and it means a whole lot to me. So thank you so much for being here, and until next time guys, happy crocheting. Bye!